Hello.
Hi. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling summery. I'm afraid I've got another clinky drinky drink.
Clink a drink.
You maybe an iced coffee, first iced coffee of the season.
Yeah.
Ooh, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm glad it's nice outside.
Yeah.
It's very lovely.
We're having a good April so far,
Yeah,
aren't we?
I think next week we're in for a shock, so we've got to enjoy it while we can.
Oh.
Poor Welshies all going on their school holidays. The English have had a bloody week of nice weather, and then
Classic.
Welsh left out again.
Classic.
It's cruel. It's unfair. So yeah.
So, episodes 23 and 24
Yeah.
of MAFS Australia, season 12.
Oh my god.
We're talking about the eventful second half of the couples retreat and
I
the
do
commitment
love it when there's a
ceremony.
drama at the couples retreat.
Has there ever not been a drama at the couples
I
retreat?
don't know. I mean, the biggest one was obviously Domenica and the glass.
Yeah, that was the ultimate. That was so good. But I enjoyed this one. Well, I did. It was horrible, but it was an interesting one because I felt like people were having a lot of fun around the edges of the drama. It was just interesting to see them all getting pissed and like giggling, and then I don't know.
Suddenly it all switches.
Yeah, added to the atmosphere.
So we already started talking a bit about it,
Yeah.
about Lauren and stuff, because it happened in the last episode.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, Jamie is feeling like she wasn't supported,
She's feeling betrayed.
feeling betrayed by everyone. And I already know that we were talking to your parents. Well, your parents were texting us about it last night when, and we were at the pub, so we hadn't even seen it yet. And I already was immediately supporting Jamie,
Yeah.
like I knew I would. But in hindsight,
After watching the dinner party.
yeah, it's more nuanced than I wanted it to be.
It is nuanced, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, defo. No one's perfect. As we spoke about the pedestal last episode as well.
Yeah, I think we can still like people and acknowledge that they make mistakes.
Yeah.
It got more complicated at the dinner party, but
party.
shall we just discuss the end of the couples retreat
Yes, please.
for a minute?
Yes.
Well, one bit that I thought was interesting was that Ree went up to Lauren, and she did go up to Lauren and tell her in person that she wasn't happy with the way that she'd spoken about some of the girls,
Yeah.
which I think was a good thing that she did that.
Yeah.
And it kind of backs up and makes more sense of what she says later of like she feels a bit caught in the headlights in the moment.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating when it kicked off between Jamie and Ree because she hadn't seen that happen. She had no idea that had happened.
Yeah.
She basically went and like ruined her friendship with Lauren
Because Jamie does it in front of everyone, so then she thinks I guess everyone else should be doing it in front of everyone too.
Yeah.
And I think I understand that to an extent, but that doesn't mean that that's what needs to happen for something to have happened.
Yeah, it is so interesting because Jamie and Lauren are so opposite, aren't they? And Lauren is saying so many horrible, nasty things, but like so quietly in a secret corner.
Yeah, so why is Jamie asking questions about the relationship that Lauren is in, that she is slagging off behind Clint's back? I find it difficult to understand why that is so much of a problem compared to Lauren actually being vile.
The troll comment came out when TJ went to talk to Lauren.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like, you know, when people say racist stuff to you and it feels like they're testing you, like, you know, random people will say something, drop something racist.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? And it's like they're trying to catch you out to see if you're
on
go
board,
along with
yeah.
it. It's almost like Lauren does that, like, because he came over to be nice to her and check on her, and then she just dropped in like, well, you know, I don't want to spend any more time with the troll.
Yeah.
And that's quite insidious the way she does that.
Yeah.
And so I understand that in that moment when Jamie confronted Lauren about that, she needed to be backed up because that is a horrible thing that she said about her.
Yeah.
That is a horrible thing.
Yeah. And also, this is earlier on, but Karina said to Jamie that she told her she thinks she was going a bit hard
Yeah.
on Lauren. And I do think, in Karina's defense, that Jamie, if she is a true friend, she should be able to listen to criticism from a friend.
Yes,
it
I
can't
agree.
all just be like blind loyalty. Like, you do have to say to your friend, it's actually not okay what you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you feel like, even if, you know, Jamie feels like what she did was right.
Yeah.
I think it's quite good because you can kind of be like, oh, okay, well, if someone I respect thinks that, whereas she just immediately saw it all as like disrespectful and attack.
And Dave is the same, which is a little bit worrying. It felt like they suddenly got this quite toxic dynamic together where they were being like, we're seeing who's loyal to us and who's out. And
Yeah.
it's like they needed one of them to be tempering the other one down. And
I guess like they don't need to do that in public though. I think also like Jamie, that is obviously Jamie's values, that she needs loyalty. And I guess if Dave like wants to have a relationship with her, then maybe that's one of his like maybe that's one of his core like beliefs as well, is like loyalty. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I just
loyalty shouldn't just mean going along with whatever. Like loyalty, I think, should be that you trust your friendship enough to say,
or your relationship.
I think you were communicating a bit aggressively there.
Yeah.
Like loyalty shouldn't be used in that way where it's just like they have to agree with every single thing that you like.
I completely agree with you. You're right.
So I think you can value loyalty. Oh, it's all very serious.
I also got like a vibe of when Karina and Ree went off with Lauren, I kind of got like a social climber energy from them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like you've gone over to someone who sees herself as above everyone else because you want to be on side with the person that sees themselves at the top of the hierarchy. And like, I don't know, the whole thing didn't sit that well with me. Lauren has been a dick. She's being so mean to everyone. Why do you have to go and check? I don't get why I kind of understand why they went and checked on her, but at the same time, I don't understand why they went and checked on her. And later on, Ree says something about like, I just needed to be a good person and do that. And I was like, there's a difference between doing what you think is what a good person should do and what you actually personally believe is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I feel like they went and chased Lauren to look good to other people rather than like what they feel like they want. I don't know.
I think it's so complicated because I think even though Lauren was doing horrible things, you can kind of see that it comes from like an insecure place.
Yeah.
In that she's sitting there thinking, I don't know how to get on with these people, so I'm just going to call them all horrible names, which isn't okay. But I think they could kind of see that she was feeling, alienated, and they were responding to that.
But she alienated herself by deciding not to partake in the whole situation. And thinking she's better than everyone.
There was a key flaw in the beginning of Jamie's argument, which was like feeling that she had a right to be angry at her for wanting to leave the experiment, which she doesn't really have a right.
You're
right. You know what I mean? So they saw it kind of explode out of something that maybe wasn't justified. Like if the whole explosion had in the first place been about her calling people trolls and bogans and shit, then it would have been more understandable. But she did kind of go in on her initially for a slightly unjustified reason, but then Lauren's responses were so horrible.
But she does it because she does it in a quiet way. She gets away with it.
Yeah,
like you said, it's really it's not fair. I feel like I as someone who gets told they're too loud, I do really feel for Jamie, and I do think she was fucked over by everyone. Because you see fire scene.
Yeah,
I don't know if there was a fire there.
I think there was
a fire pit. Yeah.
You see two people who are upset about something, but one of them is doing it really quietly, and so they're getting kind of looked after more than the loud one.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, "Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Shut up, shut the fuck up," is what Clint was saying.
Yeah, Clint. Oh,
Clint,
you've sold your soul, mate. He's just desperate to get a sniff of anything, and he's not getting any of it.
It's so crazy. It was so annoying. It's so obvious that he's only doing it to look like an alpha, but he said shut the fuck up. And who was the only person to call him out? Adrian.
Oh,
and Jackie.
I know, what the fuck.
I do think Jeff said that you can't defend that language, which I think he was talking either to Clint or to Lawrence. That was good that Jeff said that.
Yeah.
And annoying that Jamie immediately went for Jeff at the dinner table when they sat down, because it does sound like he did do a little bit of standing up to them. But yeah, the way that Clint was just doing that whole alpha thing was so embarrassing
so embarrassing.
Shameful.
Yeah.
And I just cannot wrap my head around the fact that Adrian and Jackie are the ones that stood up for Jamie.
It's so funny when Jackie was like, "Thank you, Jackie." Like she couldn't believe it.
Jamie said that about
Jamie.
Jamie.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's so funny. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, so good.
I really enjoyed Jackie in these couple of episodes. She was
Yeah,
so
me too.
strange and kind of a bit likable.
Yeah.
But bizarre. Oh my god! But she said, just quickly, she did the really annoying thing at the dinner party where Ryan was like trying to get an apology from Beth, or Beth was trying to get an apology from him, or whatever.
Oh my god, that was so annoying.
And then she was like, "Just so you know, I forgive you."
Beth was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so crazy. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes again, and like Karina was standing up for Clint when Clint was telling Jamie to sit the fuck down, and like I can see why Jamie is so angry.
Yeah,
because they like Clint and Lauren were sitting there like they were the king and queen and saying all this shit to Jamie, and she was just getting more and more and more riled up, and therefore louder and louder and louder because no one was supporting her and they were still being really cruel to her. So I understand why she got so loud, and then everyone's like, she's coming across as aggressive, and it's like, well, I would do that. I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, and she said later like she felt so upset that she became so angry.
Yeah.
And in that fire scene, as we're calling it, I feel like that conversation was particularly about the troll comment. It wasn't really about anything else. So that is the time when they should have said that's horrible.
I don't think Jamie was saying that, you know, the previous night was the problem. I think that the fire pit night was the main problem.
Yeah.
Because it was an argument about the troll comment.
Yeah.
And the troll comment.
But then I was thinking about, it's so hard because I was thinking about the whole thing of like her getting more flack because she comes across as loud and confident, which we also saw with Domenica. Like, and I do think that's really unfair. But I also do feel like there is maybe a responsibility to use the like powers that you have. Like that's kind of like a power of hers, a charismatic sort of quite powerful way of communicating that she possesses. She kind of has a responsibility to like deal with, I don't know, kind of fit that, I don't know what the right word is. I was thinking about how like in arguments or conversations sometimes I can come across as too logical in a way that makes me seem patronizing when that's not what I'm meaning to be. So it's like the equivalent of her seeming aggressive when she's not meaning to be, and how I have to think about, okay, don't communicate in this way because it might come across like this. The same way that they were saying to Morena, like, you are pointing and it's making people upset. Like
I did make a comparison in my notes between Jamie and Morena in that dinner party scene.
Yeah, like there is a responsibility to think about how the way you're talking affects other people.
But they've been there for 6 weeks, and this is the first time we've had this issue with Jamie. And I don't think she's come across as aggressive at another point.
But that doesn't matter. She is in this moment.
Yeah, but you're saying like she has a responsibility to like not be aggressive, and it's like, well, she hasn't been up until now. She's just been pushed to the point of doing it once because she's not perfect.
I think she was coming across a bit mean in the first place. I think she was, even when she was like telling.
But Lauren is such a dick. Like I'm like, be mean to her. She's mean to everyone else. Like I don't know. Why does everyone have to be the better person all the time? Why does everyone have to be the better person around Lauren, who's dogging it's not the right word, like who's being such a dick to all of them behind their back and to their faces? Why should they all just be polite to her? I don't get it.
Because I think there's a way of doing it that isn't mean. And then she was doing it to her own friends as well, which she shouldn't have been doing.
No.
I think basically my reading of the dinner party is that there were apologies and criticisms due on both sides.
Definitely.
Karina should have apologized to her, and Jamie should have accepted the criticism of the way she was speaking.
Definitely.
Like Karina could have
shouldn't have gone in saying our friendship is over if they don't apologize to me.
Yeah, she shouldn't have come in with this kind of test. Like it's obviously because she was upset. She came in so heightened.
Yeah.
She'd obviously just gone beyond like her threshold of capabilities.
Yeah.
But I think Karina could have said, I'm really sorry that I made you feel like
Basically
left betrayed, and
what Ree said.
Yeah, but I just responded when I saw Lauren, and I felt like she was alienated. Like, I think
it was frustrating as well, because I'm surprised Ree managed to get to that point, because it seemed like Jamie wouldn't have even accepted an apology that was like that. So I understand why Karina was like, on principle, I'm not going to say sorry because I felt like I did what I did was right. But I do think it is good to acknowledge that someone is upset, like especially if it's your friend, to be like you said, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. That wasn't my intention, which is exactly what Ree did. I think that was the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
And the way that Jamie went in all guns blazing wasn't the right way to go about it.
Yeah, I'm bummed out that she is taking such a hard line with it, but I also understand it. It's obviously something that she's had all her life.
Yeah,
you understand what it's like to feel like people make you feel like you're too much sometimes, and that's like your worst.
Of course, you're
nightmare.
gonna then just do it and then get even more wound up.
Yeah, then you're like,
well,
I'm gonna be too much, and I'm gonna just do it. Loads.
Yeah, because also, and I guess like maybe this is how I can understand Jamie's thing. It's like even in those moments where she's being really loud, she's suppressing that thing of what you know how you're saying she's got a responsibility, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, I do think you're holding back that way you want to like shout really loudly, like you're already holding that back. Because I'm like, I know I'm capable of like being super loud and shouting and being really angry, but I try really hard to not do that all the time. So it's annoying to then be told you're loud, because you're like, well, I could be a lot fucking louder and I'm not. Do you know what I mean? So I just think it's such an annoying thing. And it is, I'm glad that you've compared it to your patronizing an argument thing, because I'm like, that is definitely a problem. I think that's definitely a problem. No, but like if we have arguments and stuff, those are the two things. I get emotional and then I get angry about things, and I'm a bit.
I think that I feel like this is a fairly recent thing for both of us to be kind of like reflecting on our own communication methods in this way, and it's nice to be like, okay, we know that each other find these things difficult at times, even though within ourselves I'm like, I'm just telling the truth about a thing, and you're like, I'm just sharing my emotions. But like it doesn't necessarily get received. It's nice to work on those things in a way that lands.
It is helpful to watch MAFS for this thing, isn't it? And like I said, like we can compare our own ways of being to the way that they all behave. Now, where it crossed a line with Jamie, it sounds like I'm about to make a joke.
With her behaviour?
Yeah.
When she said, shut the fuck up.
That was really bad, because
it was like she was a toddler who was just like, if I scream loud enough, it will all stop. And it was like,
shut the fuck up, Karina. And also when she said, I don't give a fuck if you've got a voice.
Also,
that was
she kept
awful.
saying, she kept calling her stupid.
I can't deal with this stupidity.
And then she cried about being stupid.
So she knew
that
really
it was
upset
really sad.
me.
And also, I think like that was really.
That was mean girl behaviour.
That was.
Not that I want to like bandy that around, but like that was cruel.
It was, because she obviously saw something that is an insecurity in Karina. Jamie probably doesn't even think that. She probably just knows this is something I can say right now that will like shut her up. And I do think Karina isn't very perceptive. Like Rhea is a lot more looking at it in a nuanced way, because obviously I knew you would have hated this when Rhea and Karina were like, we're empaths. They were talking to each other like, we just empathise. And it's like, were you empathising, or were you just put off by loud and going towards quiet? Like there was also Jamie to empathise with in that moment, and you did make her feel humiliated.
And that thing of what I said, where it's like, I do think that they just went to where they thought they would look best on telly, in a way. I know you might not agree with that.
I don't know. I just feel like I feel I can understand the instinct to go towards someone who looks like they're left out, even if that person's in the wrong.
That's also,
but you need to then analyze. Karina didn't like analyze it enough, and so I think Jamie has a point in that she wasn't thoughtful enough about the situation.
Yeah,
but she obviously, the fact that she cried to the producers, like she was suddenly like, oh shit, I've made the wrong call here. Like she wants to be more thoughtful about it, and now she can't be, because she has to just like fully be against Jamie and be,
because they're being so black and white about it.
they're
And I
not
think,
going to talk. They're not going to discuss.
The expert said that about it being black and white. It's just made me think about how if I'm really upset or angry or something, you don't like. I really want you to come and give me a hug, but that's never your first instinct because you're like, you want me away from you, because it's like when you're outwardly expressing your emotions, it repels people. It like pushes them away. But then if you're quiet, you do. It's literally like people feel like they need to come closer to listen or something. But the person that's shouting really loud actually just like wants to be listened to and looked after. And so that just made me think of that with Karina. Jamie just had obviously lost all of her knowing where she started from. Like in the argument, it just all went out the window and she just went in fuming. And it was quite funny when she brought the Veronica thing into it.
Oh my God, that was an amazing deflection.
I know, I loved it. It was
Elliot
so
was like,
good.
What the fuck?
And it was like, oh, right. And then Veronica immediately said, that never happened. And then she was like, it did happen. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And poor Elliot, sorry, not poor Elliot, but just being like, why is my wife defending my ex-wife? I'm very confused.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It was frustrating to see Karina say the mean girl thing, which I think, again, she hadn't thought enough about that comment. I think what she meant was like, it felt like a mean girl dynamic when one person was on the outside and everyone else was in a group. But that, like, Jamie's chest literally went red as she said, and then she was just off, and it was like, no, you're responding like a mean girl. That was when she started telling her to shut the fuck up and stuff.
Yeah, because that is the... Do you remember it's always the catalyst with bully, the word bully?
Yeah.
When someone calls someone a bully, everyone goes crazy on MAFS. And I feel like that, mean girl thing has worked in exactly the same way. And maybe because I wonder if Jamie had a hard time at school or anything and had to deal with like mean girls or something, and then couldn't bear the fact that could be her.
Yeah. I guess also that's why they're all fighting so hard, because they don't want to be shown. They kind of know that someone's got to be the villain in this situation. They desperately don't want it to be them.
Yeah.
I hope we can come out of it without having to make one of them like the absolute villain.
It is looking not very good at the commitment ceremony from the preview.
Yes, but also it looks like they really get into Lauren at the commitment ceremony, which I'm
oh my
happy
God,
about.
yeah! Did you see the comment that Mel makes?
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see that happen.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because she just gets away with it because she slips it in everywhere, and she never has to face up to it. Oh, I hated them having their smug little solo dinner party.
And then she's just said again that she doesn't have a spark. What's the
she
point?
doing with him? I mean, he is absolutely drip-tastic, isn't he?
Oh, drip-tastic.
Oh my God.
Absolutely drip-tastic.
And
him
we
just
can
going
talk about e-commerce later.
and some e-commerce strategies later.
Oh my God, her
ginormous. I was like, get those away. I love a boob at the best of times. Those hideous. Who did she pay for that?
Oh my God.
They are horrible. And then him being like, do you think that ambulance is for someone at the dinner party? Oh, that was funny. Okay. God. Not funny.
Terrible. Oh, also,
Go
Awhina
on.
and Adrian, what the fuck? They're just...
It's a no.
Then they really wanted everyone to know that they were talking
Shall we
about
go around
sex.
the table?
Yeah. We connected very quickly. We're like, yes,
Yeah,
we know.
got it the first fucking time you said it.
You haven't got anything else going on in your relationship.
literally, what else are you connecting with?
Oh my God.
Athena,
it worth
get out. No.
Is it worth it for that stinking man? Stinking. It's the word of the season.
Sort of stinking. Absolutely honking.
Honking. That was quite a quick one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I still think we're both. I think we've come out in the same.
Yeah.
With the same opinion, which I'm surprised by.
We worried we were going to have a fight.
Yeah. Not a fight, but I was worried that you would be more defensive of Karina, and I was worried that you were going to be on their side and not mine with Jamie, and I was going to say relationship over.
I must say I don't fancy Dave anymore after this episode, though. I didn't like his gangster, his mafia vibes.
Yeah, I thought she might. It works for her though. Yeah,
As in she likes it?
Yeah, she likes that. She likes that kind of, well, mafia boss kind of alpha. She said she wanted an alpha, didn't she? I mean, these are all the things he has to do if he wants to be with her, because that's what she kind of is after.
But we saw him kind of calming her at other times earlier in the season.
I think he might still be doing that, but just behind the scenes.
He did at one point be like, okay, so we'll just agree to disagree. Like, I think he was sort of trying to quell it in a way.
I mean, he had to kind of be overtly on her side because no one else was, in her opinion. So,
Sidebar.
Yeah.
I never say that. Sidebar.
No.
Weird. Do you not like it?
No.
Okay.
But it makes sense because it's relevant right now. So please tell me your sidebar.
This is only compliments to everyone involved. Compliments to Karina, compliments to Ree, compliments to all the drag queens in the world. But boy, oh boy, Karina is just like straight off of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
Like she is like
especially
beautiful
with that look.
with that hood.
The hood.
And also we were saying very Kardashian, like kind of
I'm
appropriating
it's like
other cultures.
Yeah. Can you share that fact you told me about
I was listening to
crazy.
Well, it's not like I was
maybe not a fact, I don't know.
I was listening to Trixie and Katya's podcast, two queens from Drag Race, which is really funny, and they were saying that you used to, like back in the day before drag was on the telly loads, you used to really only be able to get wigs that were made for black women. So the lace front was for black skin, so it was like really dark. So they had to, it was only recently that there's like loads of wigs made for white skin as well. So they had to put loads and loads of dark stuff on their forehead so that it would shade in,
to like blend it down.
And I was like, oh my god, I bet, because there's this whole thing about like, is drag imitating like super femme women, or are femme women now imitating drag? And I bet that is part of the reason why everybody, including me right now,
and me,
adds bronzer. What's it called, what's the process called?
Contouring
on the forehead. Like I bet that has come from that. Anyway, that's all. I just thought that was crazy.
Interesting, and I just think, that must be it.
Yeah, like
love it.
These men that would want to be with someone like Karina and Ree because they see them as this kind of like height of cis femininity, but like to me, it's the
drag.
Same. It's drag.
Yeah,
they're putting on drag every day, which is great.
I do look at. I mean, Ree is like a bit more natural in her makeup, but I look and I'm like, you've got
so much,
loads on,
so much. They both look like. Also, bizarrely, they both look like queens that like don't wear a breastplate. They both look like, especially Karina, like flat-chested queens that
like
are very
Crystal Versace. She looks like Crystal Versace.
Yes,
very
fascinating.
Yeah,
and Jamie's pretty queeny as well. She's like a trashy queen.
Yeah,
love her, but you know,
AJ Mills equivalent. Oh, Jamie. Yeah, so. I mean, she just did go all about it a bit wrong.
She just had a bad day.
Yeah.
I hope she can find it in herself to
forgive Karina.
And maybe say sorry.
And say sorry. Yeah, sorry. Definitely say sorry, because her behaviour was a bit more unacceptable.
Shouldn't have
at
called
the dinner
her
party.
stupid, because then she's going into Lauren territory by name calling. Which
she did go into Lauren territory by saying,
done before then.
Shut the fuck up to Karina. She's become, the student has become the teacher.
What's your favourite thing this week?
I've said it to you loads. I can't remember what you've done. I was like, I can't find this.
Oh yeah, wear my sunglasses. So I was like, on the mini desk by the door on the right.
The student has become the teacher. Where are my keys? You've been finding them all for me, so I appreciate it.
All right then,
darling.
We'll be back soon. Hopefully some fresh drama. I don't want any more of this horrible.
No more churning it up.
No.
Give me more new stuff.
New stuff.
New stuff. Love you.
Bye.